We are back on the Boxing Podcast. It's episode 22, and it is July 15th, Monday. I'm Garrity McCosker.
And I'm Trevor.
All right, so we've been gone for a while, a few weeks. We have a lot of topics to go over for this episode. I think first we should lead off with a story that happened. It really broke this morning, Monday morning, and that is Pernell Whitaker passing away last night.
Yeah.
Getting hit by a vehicle as a pedestrian. As far as the info I've seen in reports, it's really been just that I believe the driver stayed with until filed a police report, so it wasn't a hit and run. We don't have any further details on drunkenness or anything at this point. At the last time I read the record, but it's a sad way to see a 55-year-old die. Much too young.
Not a normal 55-year-old too. A living legend.
Right.
A guy. Most I think that we're looking at fighters that are sort of smaller in stature. And Pernell Whitaker was a guy that went out there that was a little man, that was a little big man, that was stopping people. Arguably one of the best defenses that we've ever seen. Definitely one of the slickest fighters that we've ever seen. Has the best defensive reel, highlight reel that we've ever seen.
He's a little bit before my time when I really got into boxing, but I do remember in the early days of just looking up fighters, looking up YouTube clips, just him having the best highlight reel. He was the defensive fighter, hands down. If you would see a good fighter, let's say a Floyd Mayweather, you would hear comparisons, from the old guys. He looks like a Pernell Whitaker this moment, just using that as a benchmark for a man's style in defense.
Pernell obviously was a southpaw, but Floyd too. A lot of people might not know this, but Floyd in the beginning of his career or on his way up the rankings before he'd even turned pro, would go and spar with Pernell Whitaker, and he was learning a lot from Pernell Whitaker. And I think, and I've heard Floyd talk about this before, that the fact that he was competitive with Pernell Whitaker at the time was given Floyd belief in himself,
right?
And it ended up being one of the reasons why he was ended up doing what he did. But when I think about Pernell Whitaker, obviously, unfortunately, the fight that comes to my mind
Chavez
is Chavez fight comes to my mind. Oscar De La Hoya too. I thought that he had beaten Oscar De La Hoya. They'd obviously given Oscar De La Hoya the nod. He was a huge star at the time. Same thing with Chavez. I thought that he had beaten Chavez. I actually have a.
That's the big controversial.
Yeah. The story is there's a guy named Eric Gomez that I grew up with. He invited me over to his house. He knew at the time that I was boxing, and he said, "Hey, look, do you wanna watch the Chavez fight and versus Pernell Whitaker?" So I go to the guy's house, and.
At this point, Chavez was still undefeated, correct?
He's still undefeated, right. Yeah. I think he's like 95 and 0, 97 and 0.
And so crazy. much money was in the balance on his side of things, and
there's two pictures.
He couldn't have him lose.
Imagine this: there's two pictures in the house. There's a picture of Cesar Chavez.
Oh yeah, I remember.
The agricultural worker.
Yeah.
And then there's a picture of Julio Cesar Chavez from Culiacan, right?
Yeah.
And they're both, and then like a picture of like Mother Mary,
right?
And so,
Virgen de Guadalupe.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm watching the fight, and I remember
the three saints of Mexican households.
Yeah. They had asked me afterwards
in 1990, whatever.
They probably guys in 93 maybe, but they'd asked me afterwards, "Who do you think won the fight?"
Yeah. It was a draw.
I told the truth.
Sure.
It was Chavez. No, I'm just kidding. I said that I thought of Pernell Whitaker. But
what did they tell you? What did they tell you?
Oh my God, dude! It was almost like I had exalted the whole household. But besides that, Pernell Whitaker has just been an incredible fighter.
For anyone that hasn't watched that, you'll be able to find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was a fight that once you take a look and see. Many people at the time, many people since have thought Pernell Whitaker won that fight and ended up.
Pernell won the fight. We know that he won the fight.
Ended up being a draw. Protect that.
Yeah, they protect
that record.
Protect the moneymaker and so forth. Pernell had a hard time probably being able to put a lot of fans into the seats because, like I said, but he was a little guy that was stopping people.
Yeah.
But he didn't have that star power, that pizzazz. Like it definitely, like Oscar De La Hoya looked like a heartthrob. He's on the cover of all these teeny bopper magazines. I think he was in.
He was doing. Was he doing
50's most beautiful people?
Hadn't even. I don't know if the timeline's correct, but he had been doing some music stuff.
Yeah,
he did some Spanish
he was
tracks
a huge
stuff.
guy, a huge star. And same thing with Chavez.
Chavez was already a king, and, so it makes sense. I mean,
horrible that the guy passed away.
But I did see something great recently, and I don't know how old this video was, but it was a little bit to what you said about how Floyd Mayweather being able to work there and hold his own against him really give him confidence. But in this video, he gives Pernell Whitaker a lot of credit for being a small guy that can go and take multi-divisions.
Took different divisions.
I think he did 4 in his four division title list, and certainly that let Floyd, that's the path.
Especially now, doing that in modern day, and obviously being a defensive-minded fighter first, but also stopping guys. The guy was stopping. The guy could punch. It's rest in peace to Pernell. Horrible. So.
Yeah, we'll find out more, or maybe we won't. Maybe
Pernell. One thing, I think, if you follow boxing, you know that Pernell had struggled with drug addiction. I mean, that was out there.
That was one of the stories at the time.
Yeah. Also that Pernell was he was a really helpful dude, and he would take the time for anyone. Pernell would literally stop and show a kid something. Pernell would take photos with everybody. Pernell was excited to share his knowledge.
Did you ever meet him?
I never had a chance to meet Pernell, no, but. Just for boxing's a very small world, and when you start hearing when a certain person is a dick, or a certain person's an asshole, and he was never like that. He was always spoken very high of, and specifically
the boxing world really
very intimate, small world,
a lot of But these are people that knew him, but a lot of people eulogized him on social media today, and it was really nice to see.
Even Junior Yunnan, the kid from Brooklyn,
and such,
I can't remember what his, but incredible contender. Maybe might have a bright future in front of him if he stays disciplined. I know that he's signed to Jay Prince. I think that he's might be fighting out of PBS now, or not PBC. Yeah, PBS.
Hey, if we get shows on PBS, that would be good because we finally get the free TV.
But I guess the guy after his last fight Pernell Whitaker actually had dinner with him. So Pernell Whitaker's that type of guy. Yeah. He's also connected to Zab Judah. Pernell used to train Zab Judah for one of his fights. But it's just really sad to see someone like him go of his stature, especially at a young age.
And I'm sure in the boxing media you'll be seeing some footage, and the major networks will put together a good in memoriam piece. So. Look forward to that if you're a boxing fan, and if it'll be something special to watch. This weekend,
you get a big fight, huh?
Big fight, Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman.
Manny Pacquiao, right?
And
Keith.
Wait, should we just tell our audience now? Are we gonna commit to this?
We're
doing a fight companion.
Yeah, we can do.
So we're going to do a fight companion for Saturday's fight. Saturday, July 20th. Manny Pacquiao's fighting Keith Thurman, and unifying the WBA's regular belt and super belt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care.
It's bullshit. It's too much.
I have no idea about these belts.
Thurman's actually the super belt holder.
Okay.
And Pacquiao holds the regular belt. So this is consolidating the title within the WBA.
They're gonna just make the belt one now. Maybe
they're just gonna weld them together. But actually, the funny thing about this bullshit organization called the WBA, I think immediately after this fight, they're going to just give out a new WBA welterweight regular.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just a chance to get that 3% fee on the
It
purse.
might be. It's also much more complicated. You have an icon like Manny, and obviously you have Keith Thurman, who's arguably another.
No, Trevor, they have one at every weight class.
I know, it's just crazy.
All right, but they do the super and regular at every weight class.
I think they're putting it out there to sell the fight too. So it's not just,
right. Yeah.
It's not just for them getting the 3%.
This fight, it's important that these are both
me.
title holders.
You're just over it. Like, I don't even care about the belts anymore. It seems like especially with the move with Canelo with the.
That's ridiculous. I wrote an article. You can find it on boxingtldr.com about how the WBC is finally a bigger joke than the WBA because giving away the fucking franchise champion. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Do you know they basically made him a saint? Because even after
he loses,
he's still a franchise champion. What the fuck does that mean?
And even if he gets into
the
trouble,
WBC,
like if you look at the language, even if he gets into sort of trouble, it could be rewarded. They can't take the title away. They're the only ones who can take the title away.
For as much as we like Canelo because of how much of a genius boxer he is,
Canelo's incredible.
He's had so much of this bullshit. Let's not forget he was fighting at Canelo weight. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, with all the 55 and a half.
55 when he didn't want to fight at middleweight because he said he wasn't a true middle, even though he was walking around at like.
I didn't understand too. Like,
64
listen,
when he
if you're making it to 55 and a half or 56.
That's when he fought. I believe he fought.
Fucking
Cotto at that.
Get the other goddamn 2 pounds. I mean, shit. Anyways. Yeah, but Manny's coming like either. You know how I feel about this fight.
So, yeah, you believe Manny Pacquiao's gonna.
I believe Manny Pacquiao's seen everything. Except a guy with ponytail that arguably probably eats hummus and smells like patchouli oil.
Right.
That's me joking that Keith Thurman's a hippie.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about Keith Thurman. Oh, I'm on the same camp as you. Yeah. But Keith Thurman against Josecito Lopez showed us he has some holes.
He's got some holes. And I think that to beat a guy like Manny, from what I could see, you know, even when I think about the Floyd fight with Manny, you know, which wasn't by any means exciting, but there's moments where Manny is exchanging with Floyd. If Floyd plays it cool, he kind of sort of has a moment that says, hey, I better not exchange with him too much because I might get myself in trouble. And he puts himself in positions where he's not going to exchange with him. Knowing that Keith Thurman was so willing to exchange in his last fight with Josecito, I don't think it's a good idea that Keith Thurman exchanges with Manny Pacquiao like that. If Keith Thurman is going in there with the mindset that he's going to box him and he's going to use his youth and his athleticism and he's going to make Manny run into shots and maybe perhaps looking at some of the success that Floyd obviously had with Manny, or even some of the success that we know that Marquez had with him, or some of the success that even a guy like Tim Bradley had, which is still an argument.
Keith Thurman is a southpaw too, or no?
No, he's not a southpaw. No, but yeah, I definitely, if I'm Keith, I don't think Keith should get ahead of himself. I think if he stays, disciplined and boxes, I give him a much better chance. But me just going off of Keith's temperament and thinking that seeing the Keith fight last time with Josecito, I don't know if he has that discipline. So, but hey, I say this about Keith Thurman though, and to bring it up, the guy is incredibly sharp, incredibly bright. I don't know if you've had any chances to see any of his interviews. Guy's an interesting guy.
Yeah, you would love to have a 3-hour lunch with him.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
You guys eat your hummus.
I take him to Mother's in Long Beach and Signal Hill. You got to go get some gluten-free.
What Mother's quinoa. Is like? Mother's like a smaller Whole Foods.
Smaller Whole Foods.
Like an employee-owned, like for the people.
I mean, it got bought out, so it's kind of losing its luster. Yeah. Everything gets sold out these days. But listen, if you need to get quinoa or you want to get like whatever it is, grass-fed,
So.
Vegan tamales. That's your spot. So. Keith Thurman would be down. You guys don't seem too high.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get him on. We'll arrange that after he loses to Manny Pacquiao.
I know you caught this loss. Let's go get this.
Let's see what his mother's.
Get this vegan cheese quesadilla.
Speaking of Eastside Long Beach, today there was actually an article.
Right.
In the South China Morning Post. Is that right?
Yeah.
So. I don't know if you've ever alluded to it on the podcast, but a newspaper in China, an English-speaking newspaper, as there are many maybe expats or English speakers.
It's a big.
They actually have English papers.
I think it's like 1.2 million in circulation. It's a big paper. It's 1.8 on Sundays or the weekends.
Yeah. Maybe it has a history of being circulated in.
It's in Hong Kong for the most part. Yeah. And I know
there's a lot of British.
It's the biggest English-speaking. It is the English-speaking newspaper for China. So a lot of people are getting.
So how many people do you think read that article today? So there was an article about a feature piece, a human interest piece, because is that what you call
probably
those?
Like a human,
about Ivan Silv and the JackRabbits Boxing Gym, right?
Yeah,
and Trevor.
Yeah. So.
Trevor, how do you think it went?
So, I mean, here's my, I keep it real with everybody, specifically about journalists and so forth. Like a lot of journalists that are going to be interested in boxing, I think they have like a presupposition or they have an idea of what the narrative should be. For the most part, I think the narrative is going to be about the inner city.
It was a little cookie cutter.
Yeah, a little cookie cutter. I want to be honest.
I've seen that article.
I'm gonna be honest with you about the gym. Are there things that happen in proximity to the gym that were in the article?
The only problem is you said there's things like quoting.
So listen, I'll tell you the truth. This is it, and Ivan was there too. I said because they said, well,
you'll find the link at the show notes.
Yeah, they said what happens at the gym. I said, there's been shootouts here, and there's a lot of gang violence and so forth, and shootings all the time. I said, but we don't want to write about that. Because we hear about that all the time. We want to write about how this is like a safe haven and how clean the gym is.
You should have taken the quinoa aisle they have there.
And then we're making future champions of the world. And also talk about the fact that we got a food bank going on for Long Beach and so forth. So
I'm glad they did mention that in the article.
But they made it look like it was just the trenches.
It's the...
Garrity walks around there all the time on the east side. He's fine. Everybody knows him. Weddle. Just kidding. Nobody would even call you Widow out there.
No one would call me Widow because they don't know what that means.
That's the east side. Yeah. Mullet boy. I don't know.
But you lost a train of thought, man.
We're talking about whether or not... it seemed a little like... this sounds fucked up, but ghetto voyeurism comes to mind. Like this...
a newspaper article.
Yeah.
About a boxing gym. We've seen it before. It's been done.
It's all the same shit. Like, oh, these kids have it so bad. Everybody's so fucking poor. Yada, yada. Okay. Like, how about we talk about... Listen, the NFL, for example, for the most part, you're looking at people in the NFL, you ask these guys where they come from, right? They're coming from the east side Long Beaches of the world. Like, of the country. Right. They're coming from rough areas. Nobody ever says to them, like, hey, I want to hear about your real rough story of growing up.
It happens from time to time.
Sure.
I mean,
it's a human
when
interest
journalism
piece.
gets tired, they go to those stories. They'll go to those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So look, we're very grateful that they came out and covered us. We didn't. In hindsight,
I think Trevor. I think you missed a step a little bit. I think you could have gave them better quotes, and that would have directed.
Well, I said I gave quotes that were real. I said, hey, listen.
But you gave the quotes that you wish weren't in the article, but you gave.
Oh yeah. I shouldn't have given some of these quotes. Yeah. I mean, one of the quotes...
You also did fail to mention you were born in Norwalk, right?
I was born in Linwood, which is the city next to Compton. Norwalk doesn't have a hospital.
Oh.
But still.
You were born in a hospital?
Yes. Oh, get out of here with that. I was born off Rosecrans. There you go. I'm just kidding. So
all in all, good exposure to...
Good article.
How many million are in circulation?
I guess 1.2 million.
Yeah, so... And hey, let's not forget, dude. I was actually on the cover. Unfortunately, I was in that sparring clip, and I'm taking a punch.
Yeah,
but I'm wearing a big ass headgear, so you can't see it.
You're in the part of the article too.
Where I gonna?
I gave your name. Does it say Garrity McCoskey?
No. I'm not about. It's not about me. But there's.
I'll get it fixed.
There's just a point where I'm catching a punch right behind the ear or something, which is fine. Whatever. Yeah. No one knows it's me.
Yeah, but just check it out if you get a chance. It talks about. Shit, I wouldn't have covered it that way. I tell everybody to look at the Instagram.
What did you expect though? If they're not boxing people, they're gonna, give a certain.
You know what? The photographer who lives in Long Beach is real cool. I believe the writer's probably a cool dude. He's answering to his editors. Like the fucking truth is.
So that guy that I met there, he lives in Long Beach.
Yeah, he lives in Long Beach.
So he's just an AP guy that they hired out.
No.
Like,
the guy that you met, the photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a photographer. He's not the writer.
Yeah, so they just hire him out.
Yeah. The writer
they're finding me a local.
Is between Long Beach.
And did the writer ever come?
New York. Yeah, the writer came.
Okay.
But it's also like we were.
He writes articles for a Chinese paper, but he does all his stories here in the U.S. Moves around here and does stories.
He does stories all over the world. So.
Newspapers are such an interesting.
But you have an editor that wants to hear something. They obviously want some sort of like stigma, something that's going to sell, right? I mean, like, the truth is that hey, we could, like even with like Jared.
I wonder what kind of clicks. I wonder what kind of ads are in those over there. You said it's like ghetto voyeurism.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I wonder what kind of weird clicks are.
I only say that because
on their web browsers in
Vice,
China for that
Vice,
kind of shit.
Vice is ghetto voyeurism. Nothing gets more ghetto voyeurism than Vice.
Right.
You've got all these,
extremist voyeurism too.
You've got all these wealthy people from fucking, affluent areas that decide, oh, you know what? Like, oh, guess what's on? We're gonna check into the meth dealer. In Appalachia, or God, look at here, look at these New York Bloods and they're you know, they're fucking shooting each other. It's totally like it's a bunch of, you know what I always trip out on? And I'm talking too much, but fucking
That's good.
listen. I don't know anybody, like, I want to find the article where, like, I get to find out what's happening at the farm to table, like, entree. Like, I want a glimpse of that world.
The farm to table,
Like,
the
uptown Manhattan, like, eatery with somebody that lives on a trust fund. And
no, that's in the Wall Street Journal.
Never has to do shit.
That's in the Wall Street Journal in the lifestyle section on weekends.
Is that where it is?
Yeah.
Like, I want to, like...
No, you're not...
Why isn't there a Vice for us to look at, like,
intimately
look at really wealthy people and be like, yeah, you know, Tanner and Tyler never really had to work because they're trustafarians.
Well, they used to do that for... That's...
Where do I find that?
In OC or whatever, those old shows.
But that's not real money. That's, like, fake money. The Hills.
Yeah.
No, I want to see, like, the Vanderbilts and shit. And like.
But the real money probably live more boring lives, I would guess.
No.
Maybe not.
I don't know. What if you didn't have to work?
I don't know. I guess I was just thinking of like Warren Buffett
what if you didn't have to work?
His 2010 Cadillac.
What would you do if you didn't have to? Oh God, Warren Buffett.
But this is a different stuff. We're getting way off. I want to say
people always talk about Warren Buffett and his frugalness.
Frugality?
Yeah, it's like it's as if we don't like. And then it's like, oh, here's the one guy that's really really cheap, and let's not talk about all the other guys that like have $1 billion yachts.
Well, you also live in Orange
Eastern
County,
Nebraska.
So you see a lot of the fake new money or the
it's in Long Beach too.
Race hard for showing your new money kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean
that's my observation. Maybe I'm off.
There's money in San Pedro. Hey, you hear that they found a $1.5 billion worth of cocaine?
Oh yeah, on that submarine.
No. In a boat.
Oh, a tanker.
A boat that was owned by billionaires, like some billionaire family. Should we look this shit up?
It was up coast Pennsylvania.
Why are you so quiet over there? We see the camera on you. You don't feel like talking?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
I was gonna jump in about the. No, I was gonna jump in when you're talking about the Vice articles, but I was waiting for you to get.
Go for it. It's time. Cut them off. Yeah, this is the good time.
Yeah, let me know. There's no really into this.
No,
I have another point about stupid articles.
Make
on
points.
the
I'll shut
for
up.
me, if Vice doesn't cover it, who's covering it? And then what should the story be if that's not what the story is for the gym? Like, what should it be?
I would have ideally just talked about the fact that it is rough to some degree.
Because I think the article is exact. That's
exact.
But that
it's not different than most boxing gyms.
Yeah.
But the thing that's different about, I will say this though. The funny thing is, I've been in a lot of gyms and a lot of ghetto gyms. JackRabbits is actually nicer than all the gyms I've been to.
Absolutely, thank you.
So it's funny because it's the most like NFL, like let's take an approach to like we have a fucking Olympic rack over here.
Let's get the kids something where they can feel like they can actually make it.
It looks like a place that like
maybe Trevor should have said that someone got shot in the parking lot.
Yeah.
No, there was a shootout.
Trevor was high on making the reporter. You know.
I was like, I'm gonna make.
Hey,
sure.
I'm tough too.
I didn't say I was.
I may be from Norwalk, but I'm.
Let me tell you, when guns come out, Trevi, it goes a running.
You can't like complain when it's
ghetto
voyeurism when you're
feeding them it. Yeah.
They were like, this is true. They kept on saying, well, can you give us like something more?
Yeah, they may have baited you.
And you took it.
Yeah,
took it, baby.
But to go to Vice,
it happens.
The cost to go to print.
But I'm saying to go to Vice and other things. I wouldn't know about half the shit I know about if it wasn't for.
But you really don't know about it. It's like, oh yeah, the funniest one was the two girls that became.
Yeah, but you can say you don't know anything.
Became dancers at the trucker strip club, and everything is just like, it's such a brief.
You're hating on Vice, but you're well versed.
Of course, because at first you're like, it's because it's fucking like a field trip. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a field trip, but it is it's very ghetto.
But voyeurism is what runs humanity.
It's like, oh, but if you know that things are being tailored, if you know,
he's giving it from like a storyteller perspective.
Yeah, I understand.
He's a film guy, you know, like that. That's a good viewpoint right there. I mean, it's an interesting take.
But if you know, like, Okay, did you ever go down the rabbit hole of Vice and like how they got as many numbers on it and how they got it as high?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I mean, what's his name? What's Shane's name?
Shane Dawson? No,
wasn't there a
Shane Smith?
Shane Smith had
a lefty and a righty.
What they would do is they would have ads and stuff on the page, and so like the little, those little clickbait things that you would see, like a picture and a girl with the big tits or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly what
you'd
they
click.
I have no idea what you're talking about, by the way.
Okay, well,
Vice would put like
you would click on these like clickbait articles that had nothing to do with Vice, and they would go on to like these ad sites. You clicked on it, like top 10 whatever, and
but it was.
Is this where you win your iPod?
No.
Hold on. So what it would collect all of those clicks on the website, and then they can report it as this article generated 17,000 clicks. Even though 16,000 of those
have they
clicks,
closed that loophole, or can I do that from my website?
You can do that
probably
now.
could do it.
And so you would sell it to other companies as like, look at our fucking.
So they all funneled it in a device.
They would get girls and like cut off tank top Vice with like the shit that was like totally against. Remember Vice got popped for the Me Too
talking about.
shit,
He's
too.
talking about something completely different.
No, we're talking about the same thing.
Funneling.
No, this is how they built. This is how they
into
built the numbers to sell Vice. So when they went to these companies, they basically were saying we're going to be the next biggest news thing. And Vice is for the most part is fizzled out.
There's an episode of one of the Vice founders or something on how I built this podcast. So if you want.
One of the Vice founders is outright like
There's one of that guy
neocons
right.
like
so those guys split, and the guy who has the company now
Gavin
right
McInnes.
Yeah, Gavin.
And I learned about this recently because he was on Tim Dillon's podcast. He was a hilarious guy, but he's kind of
I think he came out
there.
and basically said that he was going to not that it matters, but I mean just to be real with it. The guy said that he wasn't going to, that he no longer supported the outright, that it had gotten pretty fringe and weird. But to me, from the rip, how do you not see that it's going to get weird? Like, it's also, too, that, like, when you have these guys that are so adamant about, like, why are these people complaining about this or that, or why are they speaking up for their rights? It's like, bro, how the fuck do you give a shit unless you're against them having rights? I hate, what's up with these guys?
Every fucking alt-right keyboard warrior thinks they're tough, dude.
Nostalgic guy that gets his haircut at the barber all the time that identifies with like some weird like 50s theme.
I don't know, but now
you're probably
going to get the bus for having a mullet now too.
No, I'm talking about Gavin. Have you ever seen him?
No, actually I haven't. I just heard his name on.
Oh, he looks like a slick.
I'll fuck him up.
He's a hipster. He looks like a hipster. He looks like a hipster.
And then he complains about hipsters. But but this weird grab at like this perception of what you think masculinity is.
Can you scoot forward? I don't want you ripping against my that's what we call mold, I think. Or no.
Crown molding. Baseboards.
Yeah, baseboards.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, sorry about that.
So, it's all good.
You are quite the policer right now.
Yeah.
Policing.
Talking about alt-right over here.
Outright?
Because I want to protect my...
like Gestapo.
Yeah.
The Gestapo's right.
The
Gestapo is?
I'm going to be renting this room out soon. So
do you know how to spell Gestapo? I looked it up one day.
No, I don't know.
It sounds like Gustavo.
I've never once confused the two.
Because I don't think... Gustavo.
Daniel, how was your Italian trip?
I don't know why that's so funny.
That's how it went. He got sick. He got the bug there.
He got the bug. We can wait.
I actually did.
For those of you
we're going to
haven't heard about us for the
where
last
the
2
cough
weeks.
came from before you. Where did Daniel's cough come from?
Our producer Daniel was in Italy, and I want to hear a little bit about the trip.
I actually did get sick.
Yeah.
How'd you get sick?
About 4 days into the trip. No, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
I got a fever.
It's because those planes are like just complete capsules of bacteria.
I think I got. I'm still kind of sick now, not from that, but I think because of the plane.
Did we shake hands when I came in?
No, we fist bumped.
Oh, okay.
I had a full day of that day when I got the fever. I don't know. What do you want to know? What I enjoyed it. I didn't at first. Rome was so overwhelming that I was like, "Fuck, this is," because it was like if you go to, in my mind,
started in Rome.
I started in Rome, flew into Rome, and then so it was basically Rome 3 days, Florence for 2 days, and then Venice for 2.5, and then went back to Rome to fly out of Rome. Missed her flight.
And then I want to know about that. How did that happen?
I like that you missed your flight. That's very CP of you.
I'll tell you in a second. But I was.
Your family ever missed a flight?
I missed my flight from Chicago here.
That's why.
I was in no shape to make the flight, and it was a Spirit flight. So
this would have never happened had you not trained at JackRabbits. All right, go ahead.
Had I not had too many.
So my impression, like what I thought Italy was gonna be, is like what Florence was. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's very very nice, very calm, kind of modernized, but yet still has like the old Renaissance, style of houses and everything, but more relaxed, right? Just kind of down to earth. Rome is New York on steroids. I mean,
that's a lot of
the
yelling.
The stop signs are like kind of guide. They're kind of like suggested things to do because everyone runs red lights. Everyone jaywalks. Like jaywalking's not a thing. And people will just cut people off. There's no lanes on the roads. Like, literally, there's no lanes.
They don't mean anything.
No, they don't exist.
Oh, they don't exist.
So it's
How the fuck do people go down the road?
They just fucking drive.
One time when I was I was a little kid, we were in a roundabout clusterfuck. It's just a
traffic circle in Long Beach.
Traffic circle in Long Beach. Traffic circle in Long Beach is actually the best roundabout in the United States, I think.
If you don't know what you're doing, you ever see the one?
It works pretty well, but I'm gonna go back to this.
The one in DC
event.
could fuck with you too.
So I saw a slow moving van, like one of those like Euro vans, like Volkswagen Euro vans.
Yugo?
Yes. Slowly run into an old man on a motorcycle, knock him down, and the driver couldn't give a fuck. He was like yelling at him like, "You're in my way!" And he like just kept on going, and no one stopped this old man. Luckily, it was a slow collision because like it was just he kind of edged him out, and they kind of bumped, and he just went, doop. But he had to fend for himself to get up. And
you think that Americans are too empathetic?
I think that we're worried about a lawsuit, and so we'll stop the car.
What's the bit about what's his name?
Don't you think?
The comedian.
What's his name? The comedian?
God,
I know.
Hold on. God,
George Carlin.
No, the guy that was in the silly movies for a little bit, like he was in the movie. The movie with Jessica Simpson. You know what the hell is his name?
Ashton Kutcher?
No. Dane
Adam
Cook.
Sandler?
Dane
Cook.
Cook.
My God.
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook, the first comedian I think of. Sure.
Dane Cook has that bit about when the cars crash and everybody walks outside and looks at...
Refresh my memory.
You're going to have to refresh my memory. It's been a while.
Oh, my God. I don't have any sort of community delivery.
Great story.
No, like when you hear, like if you and I heard like...
the only thing I remember about Dane Cook was...
If we hear like... and it didn't hit, we'd be like, oh, fuck. Like we want it to hit.
Yeah.
Like we want the collision, and then everybody.
Was that the joke?
Everybody does the same thing. Like they walk outside and they look at the damage, like anything's going to happen with the damage. Okay.
It's already happened.
I don't give a shit. Fuck you guys. I don't care.
Dane Cook, for those of you who don't remember, had an amazing career in 2007 MySpace era. Was huge.
Why did he fall off? Because he's not funny. He has some funny shit.
He didn't really fire back. I've seen him once on a Wednesday at the Improv.
Let's see.
But I feel like he didn't do another. No, Hollywood.
Did you go? Don't you go? Have you done a bit?
I've done mics. Yeah.
Damn, I gotta be in there.
It's been a while.
I'm a heckle you.
Now that I'm unemployed, I should get back on.
Invite Daniel and I. Next time we do that, we're gonna sit in the fucking audience and just heckle the shit out of you.
That'd be fun. I think that'd be easier.
It'd be sick if you just like threw something at us, but they didn't know that we were in on it. Just
the more we plan it, the worse it's gonna come off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's people's acts. Some people's acts are like that. They'll plant people in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it again. I think it was on Sundays. It was in Long Beach. I should just fucking do it. I have no excuse now. Sunday, 4 o'clock.
What are you doing on Sunday at 4?
It was a place called the Black Label Bar. It was kind of like a metal rocker type bar.
Where the burlesque show is?
Is there a burlesque show?
Where we had Jason today?
No, that wasn't the nice part. Okay. This is not necessarily like JackRabbits, but this is like across from like.
What does that mean, journalist?
Well, I read an article. You see on the Chinese English Post.
Trev, now when I come to the gym, yeah.
So now when I come to the gym, I'm bringing a concealed carry because that's my right.
This podcast is so fucking. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Oh yeah, Rome. So, do you ever get weird Catholic guilt there? Like any?
No. Daniel's all high and mighty. Got my Slayer shirt in the Vatican.
No, but
did you
going
see the Pope?
No. I could have. You could go to it. So what I found out is
every Wednesday.
Only if you get permission from your parish. I didn't know that.
Ticket system, a lot of
parish is one of those things you can't spell unless you're Catholic.
Parish.
Right, I know, but somebody might think like perishable. Okay, continue on.
And those people will perish in hell.
Right.
Let's continue on.
Why is that relevant? Who gives a shit?
That's what I was waiting. I didn't want to. I thought you had a point there.
None of this has any meaning right now.
But I think going to the Vatican is something that everybody should do at least once. I really do.
I don't want to be forthcoming about this. I won't be going to the Vatican.
I think you should. I think
I'm not Catholic.
I think I don't think it matters.
Oh, you're Mormon. I forgot.
I'm not Mormon either.
We lost you to the Mormons.
I think if you consider yourself a sophisticated individual, I think you owe yourself
just for the art, even if you're not practicing.
And that's why I think there's something. It has nothing to do with religion. I mean, obviously everything there has to do with religion.
Michael Angelos.
But just
not just that, but if you consider yourself to be a true intellectual, I don't think.
Western. I love this whole thing. If you consider yourself to be a true intellectual.
No, I'm calling you out specifically because
I don't.
Yeah, let's go.
Because out of all,
you seem to think you're an intellectual.
Out of all of the name droppings you've done, like the fact that you're like, I'll never go to the Vatican because I'm not Catholic.
I feel like there's an inevitability.
You already saw the Vice on it.
Yeah, I already saw the Vice on it. I saw the Vice.
He watched the Da Vinci Code.
I watched all the Da Vinci Codes, read Dan Brown's books, and I saw the Vice on it about the Black Mass.
I'm just saying.
You think the Black Mass shit really exists?
I don't know. What is this?
Oh God, I think.
Oh God,
Slayer
he doesn't even know.
Slayer over here does. He knows.
He doesn't even know.
Think the Black Mass exists?
I don't know what it has to do with the Vatican.
Here's the part where I need to test. You know what it is. Explaining what it is. That's the best.
It's just
best way to prove you know something is to teach somebody else.
They mock the Trinity. They mock like all the rituals of the Catholic Church.
Who does this?
Well, like Satanists do, and inside the church, but it happens supposedly in the Vatican quite often. Like some of the interesting things I did find out about.
Why are you surprised that I wouldn't know about that?
Is the one thing
you're shocked that I didn't know what that was.
It was interesting. Somebody like Satanists in Italy there are. That was kind of crazy. I went down that rabbit hole one time.
So that's why you don't want to go to the Vatican?
No, I would go to the Vatican. I just don't. I just think that.
You'll get me for tickets. I'll be there.
There's certain. It's just like it's also that like. There's so much of the world to see, right?
Yeah, I think if you
is that what the Oculus is? Where you stand on the eye of the Oculus?
No, my friend has the Oculus. That's the Oculus Rift. It's for YouTube.
the company that Facebook bought, the gaming company.
I don't know. Anyway.
No, because look, let me put it this way, and I mean this sincerely. Before going to Italy, I gave zero shits about art. At like the Louvre, going to fucking LACMA.
You never been to these places?
I've been not to the Louvre, but I've been to LACMA and the Getty and things. I've never cared about any of these art anything. But going to Rome, going to Italy, going to all the museums, I understand now like what's 13th century, 14th century, 15th century, 16th.
Oh, you paid extra for the headset?
Oh no, my mom's friend is a history major.
That's
Runs. She also runs the satellite school.
Not to be a dick.
She runs the satellite school. I'm gonna finish my point.
Yeah.
She runs the satellite school at Pepperdine, so she's in charge of doing all that. So I basically got.
But your experience is going to be much better had that been my experience. Because you have an expert with you.
Yeah,
that's gonna fill you in on everything.
But it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
If I were to go to the Vatican,
but here's the thing, Trevor. You said I'm never going to the Vatican, and then he mentioned Louvre and LACMA, and you go, "Oh, you never been to those places?"
No,
keep that same energy, bro.
Going into it has nothing to do with that though. You're cherry picking because going into these rooms.
Where does cherry picking come from?
Fucking the
people
fields. Picking
okay,
cherries.
Okay, so cherry picking, that's where the metaphor comes from. People cherry picking. That's how we got to your cherry picking. No, that's not how we got to cherry picking. There's got to be a story behind it.
So it's probably if you probably know, it probably has to do with racism. And
is it really
white people?
Oh, the best job on the field was to pick the cherries rather than the cotton or something.
Oh God, this is really.
No. I'm just
sign me up
I'm
on
just
this
making
one.
this shit up.
You're running myself in the right hand. Sign me up on this podcast.
No. That's
you really think that that's the case? Too?
That's a possibility. That's a
Google
theory.
it. You have a
It's
laptop
theory.
right fucking in front of you.
My
point is though,
yeah.
you walk into these rooms and it's like nothing else you've ever experienced before, and I mean that. Because there's art everywhere. There's art on the ceiling. Everything's decked out in gold. It's just, it's a weird.
When you see the gold, do you ever think to yourself like, man, this is a little pretentious, a little gaudy?
Well, it's gaudy because it's religious.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
isn't Gaudi in Italy? Did you see him?
I don't know.
He was Italian.
John Gotti?
No.
But I'm serious. You get to see the Medici families, the
Medici families. They had more wealth than anybody else.
And I know,
history,
and you
right?
get to go through their houses. You get to go through their apartments. You get to go through these things.
It comes from a 15th. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be what I hypothesized.
And we knew that.
I just hypothesized the etymology of it. You can chill out for a second. I didn't start the phrase.
Well, first, cherries aren't even where were cherries native to?
The cherries are amazing in Italy.
Yeah. Cherries, they have cherries in Washington.
They have cherries in Washington.
Cut down a cherry tree or something
but that doesn't necessarily think about a tree.
Oh, that's not Washington. That's fucking Virginia.
No, there is Washington.
Oh, yeah?
Cherries in Washington State.
But he did that over in Virginia, right? Yeah. I'm trying to figure this all out.
I don't know any art people from Pepperdine that teach satellite courses that are professors.
But that's a fucking excuse because
then get the fucking headset.
There's a visceral experience about just by going in. Yeah, going into St. Peter's Basilica. It's a fucking just.
No, I see what you're saying. I was like that when I went to DC. I get it.
But DC has nothing on this because I've been to DC too, and it's like.
Are you an American?
I am an American. But
are you proud to be an American?
I'm absolutely proud to be an American.
I think it's funny, you're probably right. I don't know. I haven't been.
No, he's right.
Huh?
You should see it.
You see the Vatican too?
Yeah.
Well, I don't fucking know. I don't know any.
He went to Notre Dame. Of course, he's been to the Vatican. If you don't go to the Vatican, you can't go to the Notre Dame.
Yeah, first of all, I'm half Italian, and my Catholic family, so. I've been to Italy 3 times.
And he went to Notre Dame. It's a requirement.
I've stopped by the Vatican 3 times.
Hey, what are you doing next week? Just gonna go to the Vatican.
No, it's been 15 years, I think, since I've been, but
I'm sorry.
I'll go again.
Daniel's judging you right now.
No, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I went. I can't judge him now.
Yeah.
Up until this point, I could have 2 weeks ago I would have been able to judge him because I'm gonna be honest. I never thought I was gonna go to Italy in my entire life. Ever.
Did you stop by any other countries?
No.
Do you have some of that Naples pizza?
No. But that's a story for. I went to Pompeii.
Did you go to Naples?
No. Well, technically I did.
Pompeii?
Technically I did because in order to go to Pompeii, you got to go to Naples.
Hey, Pompeii puts shit in perspective, huh? When shit goes wrong.
Well, Pompeii is just amazing because you're there.
Cool.
It's a fucking pretty much a preserved Roman city.
Yeah.
Well, that too, but I mean, you see
stop in time, and this is where the bodies were.
You get to see this is what roads look like.
Could you imagine?
The guy walked into his house, and there he is.
No, but could you just imagine? That's a hell of a way to go, man.
There's a volcano blew up when we were going there.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
You missed 2 earthquakes.
Yeah, I know.
There.
I know.
Big.
2 big ones too.
6 point something and a 7.1.
Which is crazy. I'm like, fuck that, because I'm actually glad I wasn't here for the earthquake.
As far as earthquakes go,
fucked me
LA
up.
earthquakes. I don't like earthquakes either. As far as earthquakes go, though, these were pretty good earthquakes.
These were good ones. You want to know something weird? I didn't feel either one of them because I was in the car both times.
Well, they were rolling earthquakes, so then even if you would have felt them, they weren't.
I was teaching kids pivots. And
getting all dizzy and falling.
One of the kids was like, "I'm pivoting well," and then he's like, "Yeah," man. It was like earthquake, yeah.
No, they fucked me up though. They mentally fucked me up.
It's like no one
No, I don't panic during the earthquake because I feel like that LA education of what to do during an earthquake, like go hide under a doorway,
it just kicks in.
It's pretty ingrained in my head.
You find the closest table.
But it's like the weeks following. It's the weeks following where I'm like, is there going to be another earthquake? Could it happen anytime? Like
crazy that we actually had another one. But you know what I hate? I just want to say this. Can we just get the big one?
Just get it out of the way?
Just get it out of the way. By the way, the big one is probably good for the economy. Oh yeah,
explain. Just keep going. I'll hear you out here. Just go on. Yeah, I like it.
The big one will create jobs.
Oh yeah, infrastructure. We'll have to rebuild our roads.
I mean, it'll be good for the
a lot of new car buyers will be out there.
1%.
Also, be a lot of insurance claims. So some companies are
not necessarily. They're not necessarily the insurance claim. You got to if you don't have earthquake insurance.
I was going to say another thing. Well, maybe it's inconsiderate of me and immature because I'm not thinking about those who are very close to the epicenter of these things. But when an earthquake happens and I'm feeling it, I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm like, this is cool. Like
until you're in
I'm at the epicenter of one and my house is
I was
which I'm gonna see if I have earthquake insurance.
I was in Mexico City, and
that they got fucked.
Speaking of missing in flights, I'm in Mexico City. They had like a 6.5.
You were there for that?
Yeah, I swear, dude. This
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Funny story. 6.5.
Hilarious.
I am passed out in my room. I wake up and I'm literally looking at my room. I was like, what happened in here? Like, what the fuck? Like, shit's like fell over and stuff.
My wall's sideways.
And I didn't think too much about it. I walk outside and I look, and at the hotel I'm at, the roof is like caved in. There's shit that's like, it was really bad. It's right there in Mexico City.
This is hilarious.
And I walk out and I think to myself, this is what I think. I'm like, well, motherfuckers out here fighting? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. So I walk a couple feet.
Racist.
And I go, what happened? Was there like a fight or something? Like, what happened? Da-da-da. And the person looked at me and they're like, no, we had a huge earthquake last night. And I like look.
Un terremoto grande.
Yeah, and I'm like looking and I'm like thinking, well, it can't be that big. Like, it can't be that big of an earthquake. But I'm looking at everything's messed up. And literally like, shit is fucked up.
I was in Mexico City in June, and
I just want to know what kind of fight you think.
No, because
Godzilla was fighting.
What I was thinking
was fighting King Kong.
I swear to God, in my life, I was thinking, were they throwing shit at each other? How did that hit the roof?
The roofs collapsed. You thought there was a fight?
It never hit me that there could have been an earthquake until they told me there was an earthquake.
It never would have hit me that there was a fight.
And I walk, I saw immediately, you're on Google, so I'm like, Mexico, and I'm like, wait a minute, I slept through.
Oh, it wasn't a fight. Damn it!
It was either a 6.4 or 6.5 or 6.6. It was a big ass earthquake. It messed up the city.
I was there in June, and
I slept through
in downtown, in like the financial district downtown. It's like of the nicest buildings around. One of them's still pretty fucked up, and it's like covered with like scaffolding and like drapery to kind of cover it because they're still repairing it. After 2 years,
You know what scares me about earthquakes? Like, fucking Japan. Like,
tsunami.
I want to go to Japan. Like, that's the place where I want to go to.
I do too. The Olympics will be sweet.
And then when I was looking up earthquakes, I didn't know the one in 2011 was a fucking 9.0.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you talk about.
Wasn't the tsunami like the worst?
Fucking 150 foot of tsunamis.
Tsunami warning in Indonesia a couple weeks ago.
It's the Earth. That's what people forget. People sleep on Earth. Like, they're sleeping on Earth.
It should be a sticker.
They're sleeping.
I don't need that made for your bumper. People sleep on Earth.
They do because
people will think they're gonna be like, oh, I'm so. Is it because of global climate change? You're like, nah, motherfucker. I'm talking about the earthquakes.
Because they think, oh, I'm driving my Tesla.
That too though. When it comes to the
people sleep on Earth.
Typhoons and shit.
Climate change? No.
On everything.
Earthquakes.
Like just flooding in New Orleans going on. And that's not even a big storm. That's just starting. All that's just starting.
I haven't even looked at it. Did New Orleans get
They were already.
Fires are going to be gnarly this year.
They could be because of all the rain we had.
In 2 months, fires are going to be gnarly.
People sleep on Earth.
That's true.
They're sleeping on Earth.
I mean,
people forget that.
The movie with Will Smith, here's another cultural reference.
I Am Earth? I Am Legend?
But one of the most powerful scenes is when he's in Manhattan, And he's, you know,
and he's talking to the mannequins.
But no, nature is basically taking everything back.
His kills dog.
No, you fucking guy. But nature's taking everything back, right? Or it's like Chernobyl. You watched, yeah, same thing. Like,
which tourism has increased by like 1,000-fold.
Did you guys see the weird bit about the social influencers taking photos
from that one comedian?
No.
Oh.
Goddamn,
you got to stay on your own topic here.
Social influencers were taking photos in a toxic lake, and like they were being told like.
Did you see this on Vice? Because this sounds like a fucking Vice article.
Yeah, it does. All right, so
I'm done. I surrender. All right, next. What are we talking about?
Well, what else? You did say, did you see this thing about social media influencers? Like what?
Yeah,
what reputable like news source writes an article about a trend with influencers? Like that has to be a Vice article, right? Or like a BuzzFeed thing, or like a.
Does anybody
it's
go
like
to
not,
I saw it on Snapchat.
I saw it on Snapchat.
Snapchat Discover. Yeah.
You know what? You know what's crazy?
This woman's obsessed with her 10-inch waist.
What about when people claim?
My husband loves it.
People claim to get their news from Facebook. I secretly judge them. Like I'm just on Facebook to get my. No, you're not. You're on Facebook because.
Is that where you found this
article? Go on.
Facebook.
Finish your sentence. For what?
For all the bullshit that comes
Who wrote this article? Wait, who wrote this article?
I don't know. I saw it on Facebook.
I saw it on Facebook.
My aunt shared it on Facebook.
It's not on Instagram.
I saw it on Instagram. What's the other one?
Oh, yeah. Totally different. Yeah.
Right, whatever.
It's on Instagram, not
Who gives a
Facebook.
shit? So
to answer your question, no, I didn't hear about this.
Did you ride a moped?
No, I did not.
Huh?
I did.
I would be too afraid to drive in
Did
Italy.
you ever feel like you were gonna get robbed by gypsies?
Yeah, you ever get a gypsy?
So okay,
robbery?
it's funny
Not
you say
really.
this because a week before we got there, my mom's friend had other guests come in, and they both, like the couple, they were a couple, they both got their iPhones stolen.
Oh.
I talked to people in the airport who were like also got delayed with their flights and stuff. They got their phones stolen. Like a lot of people got pickpocketed.
Does your mom's friend spend the summers there?
Yeah.
So she's got a spot and everything?
Well, she's there year round. She's
Oh, I thought you said she taught it.
No, she's in charge of the satellite school in Pepperdine for all of the studying abroad.
We should invent.
Awesome.
We can. I was just thinking we can invent something that like you have to have a bracelet onto your iPhone, and when someone takes your iPhone,
no, you just got to not be fucking stupid.
Away from the proximity of the bracelet, it actually self-detonates. No,
I mean, you could do that.
That's going to be more trouble than it's worth, I think.
No, I mean, it could work. But then you have to be careful because you're like, hey, can you take my picture? Like, we're in front of it. Here, Garrity, take my picture. And then Garrity dies because...
we'll work. If Garrity dies, we'll work out the loopholes afterwards.
But no, but...
You remember those little chains people used to put in their wallet?
I never had one, but you certainly remember them.
That was more your era.
Dude.
90s Norwalk?
90s, not clubbers. You guys remember clubbing?
No, we're younger than you.
We're going clubbing. You don't remember that shit?
But I
I've never gone clubbing.
I bought one of those.
You went clubbing?
Not proper clubbing.
Those neck wallets.
Kickback.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it attached to a necklace?
It's like a fanny pack
with the Velcro.
But you put it. It's like
put it under your shirt so no one can steal it.
Yeah. And I just would fucking put my passport and my wallet and money and shit in there. And my phone.
Nothing's gonna get you.
That's a huge tourist target there, though.
I didn't get anything stolen.
There you go.
So I mean,
but do you have any? That's good. I'm glad you didn't get anything stolen. Do you have any stories getting ripped off for tours or just funny stories of the things?
I can tell you that the worst Italian food
shit.
that I had was at the Hilton on the last day.
Who would order Italian food
at Hilton?
Well, because we stayed at the airport on the last day in order to not miss our flight.
Oh, that worked. How did that go?
How did that work out for you?
And so, obviously, we have to fucking eat food. And the shitty part about the airport in Rome, let me put it this way. It's like flying out of John Wayne Airport And then if you want to go to Rome, you got to go all the way to L.A. from John Wayne.
Okay, so it's a 45.
And there's nothing. And there's nothing in between.
This is an old city. You know what I mean?
No, I know it's not.
They
like
had to do that. They couldn't just pop in ancient Rome.
So in order to just for clarification, if you're at the airport, you can go to Rome 3 ways: via taxi, which costs you 48 euros flat, like to go there one way, just to go there, 48 euros.
What's that translated into?
It's like 50 bucks.
No, pesos.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, go ahead.
You could take the train, which is 14 euros, 30 minutes.
You're looking it up.
And then there's
wow, the euro's almost
$54,
man.
It's not so bad anymore.
And then the other way is you could take Uber, which is actually considered illegal by taxi drivers, but they only do Uber Black in Italy. So that costs you 100 euros if you want to Uber there from the airport. Those are the only ways, or bus, which is 8 euros, but it takes you all fucking day to get there. Bus line stops at 10:30, so you can't get back to the airport. You can't. The train stops at 11, so you can't go back to the airport after 11, and then taxi's going to cost you 60, 70 euros to go back. So it's pretty much no way to get to Rome. And so we just stayed there. We ate fucking.
What'd you order?
I couldn't tell you because it's all in Italian. That's a lot of the dishes. It was pasta. It was like spaghetti, but I don't know what the fuck it was.
Maybe the food was good. You just didn't know what to order.
No.
Hotel.
It was shitty because it was
airport hotel.
It was swordfish.
Hilton.
It was swordfish, and it said swordfish cubes in English, and so
like
cubes.
Okay,
cubes.
I'm glad that you're having this reaction because
processed and put in a fucking ice cube tray.
Like spam.
This is what
for swordfish. Huh?
So we called the waiter over. Of course, he doesn't speak fucking English.
He hates you guys.
So we called over the English-speaking waiter who didn't speak
Hilton,
very.
So I imagine they would have one.
Didn't speak very good English either, and we're like, "What is swordfish cubes?" And he's like, literally, this was, and I'm like, "What's funny?"
I can totally see that shit happening.
He's like,
"Oh yeah, they're dicks.
Yeah.
They're dicks."
You know what? I don't think knowing that they're dicks. I don't. You know.
They're not dicks. They're fucking straightforward, and they don't have time for your shit. It's either my way or go fuck yourself.
Well, you have this happen a lot. Like being a Southern California native, it's like
they're very straightforward.
Someone's gonna ask you for directions from another country, and I'm always feel like, oh yeah, I'm very helpful. Next time.
That's what he did. He went, and I'm like, I don't understand what's funny. And he's like, it's a swordfish. And I'm like, I know, but what is swordfish cubes? And he's like, that's a swordfish. And I'm like, I'm getting frustrated, right? I'm like, okay, but swordfish come in fillets. Like when you order.
Is that a machine? Like, can't you get some peanut?
We probably could have fucking done that. It would have tasted better.
They have McDonald's in airport room.
Isn't it sad when you see McDonald's?
No, they don't.
Americans exported like.
We should have just went to the fucking airport to get food.
We just gave the world the worst shit ever, like McDonald's. I went a trip to Tahiti. And
McDonald's is everywhere.
They were so hyped that they had a McDonald's, and you just see these Tahitian families going in there.
Yeah, that was when we finally won the Vietnam War. Was when they put a McDonald's in there.
That was it.
That was it.
This is
so when I explained to him like,
hey, here's the McDonald's.
Swordfish fillet. He's like, yes, fillet. We cut the fillet in cubes.
Have you ever had a fish fillet at McDonald's?
I'm gonna show you. Yeah,
it's a weird way to do it.
I'm Catholic, so of course I've had a fillet of fish.
When people order fillet of fish at McDonald's, I kind of look at them a little.
It's not good. It's not a good pick.
I don't fuck with it.
I actually don't think they're that bad.
Yeah, don't trust them.
I don't.
It's like trusting a guy with no facial hair if you order fillet of fish.
So let me show you this.
You don't know about this?
What?
I don't trust any. If you don't have facial hair,
like
I don't trust
on you, or if you can't grow any.
No, if you don't.
Here's the swordfish cubes.
So when I say you don't fucking trust me.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That's not good.
This is what my mom got.
Yeah, it's like a ravioli with.
And this is what I got. And it cost 47 euros for both of this shit. The next day, since we missed total. So we missed our flight because, well, the reality is we were too fucking. We did not factor in that it really takes fucking 3.5+ hours to do the whole process. Like genuinely, legitimately. So we were there about 2 hours early, and it didn't fucking matter.
So the funny
part, because what happened is we couldn't. So real quick, I'll just explain what happened real quick. So the ticket said Brussels Airlines. That was our. So we go to Brussels, and they're like, "Oh no, this is not our ticket. It's United." So we got.
Do you think that people, when they're telling stories about America, that when it comes time for them to do the interaction with the other nationality,
because we're very nasally. Yeah, they absolutely.
Do an impersonation.
My Australian cousins have a funny American accent they do of us.
Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely, of course you got to. It's a part of the storytelling.
It's kind of like that SNL sketch of the Californians. California, you know.
Yeah, what is it some like weird linguistic shit that fell out from human beings that we all do the same shit?
Like, yeah, it's called being human.
We
thousands of years.
It bounces back, and when you separate in areas,
it's just what we do. Happen. It's just like it's like when you're around white people, you're gonna talk a certain way. When you're around black people,
I've heard your 3 voices in one day.
Yeah. I don't know that many white people. I know you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna talk the way you do.
But I've heard your 3 voices.
Hey there. What are you doing right now? Go ahead. So I'm listening to your story.
So fuck, I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, so Brussels. So we go to Brussels. They're like, oh, it's not us. We go to America. So United. So we go to United, and then it wouldn't let us check in on the on the passport thing, right? Mm-hmm. So we had to wait in a fucking line that literally took an hour plus to get to the front to say your machine won't print our boarding passes, and then he's like, oh, you are not going to make your flight. So we go down to where they said there's no ticketing window. There's no fucking people who work for United there.
They don't care. United doesn't give a shit. When you fuck
it's
up,
not just
they'll drag your ass off that plane. Fool.
It's not just United. It's anybody. It's anybody.
That guy at the plane? That old guy?
We had to fucking call a number.
You want to get your grandfather to drive it off the fucking plane?
50. It's not grandfather age. Let him talk. He looked older.
50 could be grandfather age nowadays. Elderly. If you were fucking at 16, you could be a grandfather at 50.
Yeah.
Go on.
You might not
50,
be a grandfather
50 is a father age. 50 is a father
Garrity doesn't.
My dad's 50-ish, 55.
Yeah, but you don't want to have your pops taken off a flight like
that.
Yeah, but your dad's not a Mexican.
He wasn't Mexican. I thought he was
Asian, fool.
I know, he's not Mexican.
Are we talking about?
He wasn't impregnating women at like 18.
You're saying why my dad's older.
Yeah.
Or younger. Or
what was crazy is that like humans,
the next few generations are gonna have some old ass grandparents that are gonna barely see their first
humans
kids.
Never surprise me.
We're taking longer and longer to have our first. You know,
when shit goes bad like that, nobody speaks the fuck up.
What I'm talking about?
No, like when they
some of the dragon thing to do.
I don't know. It depends. It depends. I don't think so. I don't think that's true.
We gotta do a whole case study.
7 times out of 10, we don't need a case study.
I don't think that's true.
We don't need any qualitative data.
We're just gonna make bucket things without any.
We know this innately in our guts. People don't say shit.
I think it depends on what's going on.
I see people. So we across from the gym the other day, there was a fight that was breaking out, and
see that's a different situation.
In the hood, you don't want to fucking.
Yeah, see that's different. If historically speaking, I speak out. If I speak out. When shit like, but when I know me speaking out might result in me getting my ass whooped, I won't say shit.
I spoke up. I said, if you guys want to fight, just go to the boxing gym. We'll give you both gloves.
But you didn't step in.
They didn't fight.
I'm just saying.
I wish the South China Morning Post was there for that. That would have been Trevor Zambrano saved community violence in Eastside Long Beach, resolving an issue that happened live in front of my eyes by putting gloves on these young.
So he had went to both of the kids. All right, go ahead.
No, so I fucking called United, which is a whole nother story because there's no service.
They're the worst.
I saw your tweet storm to AT&T also.
Yeah, that was a whole nother thing. That was before.
You became, let me speak to the manager, Pam, at that moment. I'm not going to lie.
And then there wasn't even...
He was pretty important at that moment.
And then there wasn't even a fucking... That's not even the end of it because we came home to a fucking bill that's over $200 for all the international calls, even though they were all on Wi-Fi. But that's a whole nother fucking story.
Because you were data roaming.
No data roaming. All Wi-Fi calling. Anyway.
That's the contention here.
Who's AT&T?
AT&T, yeah. Fuck AT&T.
You know how I like T-Mobile? Mexico, Canada free, so every time I'm in Mexico.
Yep. But I call United, and they're like, oh, sorry, we can't help you because this isn't our plane ticket.
I'm going to get up.
Your plane ticket is actually fucking Air Canada. No, nowhere on the plane ticket does it say any of this shit. None of that shit.
Give me water.
And for fucking...
Water?
The next 9 hours, I'm on the phone going because there's no service for me in the terminal. The Wi-Fi is not strong enough to make a call. That means I had to go all the way back to the hotel to make a call. And then what would happen is that I call Air Canada. They'd say, okay, you got to talk to the desk at the terminal, and you got to have them do these things. So I'd go back to the fucking terminal, have them do the things, and then they would do the things, and they're like, okay, you got to call Air Canada. And it was literally back and fucking forth until finally I find out after 8 hours of doing this that the guy that I was talking to at the terminal isn't even an Air Canada representative. He's a third-party ticket manager who has limited access from these companies like United and Air Canada, so he can speak on their behalf in a limited capacity. And then I literally called Air Canada, and this is, mind you...
They had no idea.
No. At this point, since it's like 6 or 7 hours in, the ticket prices... Because we were going to have to just buy a new ticket. We'd missed the flight entirely.
Oh, yeah, you're answering the price question.
Yeah, so at first the cheapest tickets out were the next day, Norwegian Air, the $900 each, and then that was the cheapest.
$900 or €900?
$900 US plus tax, so it was like $2,500 total through Expedia. But we waited because I was like, that we can. I have a confidence that Air Canada will help us out. This is a big shit show. Blah blah blah. By the time we did all these fucking loops, ticket prices jumped up to like $1,600 each, just in this time frame, and they were just obviously getting more and more expensive. So my mom not jumped the gun, but fucking pulled the trigger and bought tickets. I was gonna go to Ireland. We were gonna go to Ireland because
can't wait until you blast me for this. You're gonna love it.
Why? Are they like candy coated or anything?
What were we gonna say about these?
Pecans? I don't know. They look good.
Oh, I thought you were gonna make fun of me for some white shit, right?
Those are pretty good.
I bought these outside of Mr. Baker's hair cutting place on a Saturday afternoon because this entrepreneur named Darlene Victor was...
You bought some from outside of Baker's?
She was selling some things, and I thought this would be a great gift for somebody sometime.
I'm gonna call
but not now.
But not now, because I guess you open them. So don't you want one? I think I'm going to give it to my grandma or some shit.
I'm gonna call not now. China Post.
That's how I was supporting
an
entrepreneur from the community.
This is how you know Trevor's part Mexican, because he didn't even fucking ask him. He just grabbed it and ate it. This is how you fucking know. That's how you know he's part Mexican.
Yeah, these are really good though. Thank you.
Let's give Darlene's style. Darlene's kitchen.
Anyways, end of the story is Air Canada. At the very end, after they find there's nothing else I could do, and I pleaded to them, and they fucking, thanks be to God, they fucking put me on a new flight the next day. We were able to refund the.
Was there any
So we didn't have to pay shit.
Any turbulence?
And it was a fucking.
That never happens.
It was a long day. Yeah, there was turbulence.
You take a pill?
Oh fuck! Get a refund.
No, I took a pill when I flying there. Not going back.
CBD?
No.
Is this where you play your CBD sponsor?
Melatonin or whatever.
I'll take those sometimes to sleep.
Melanin or whatever the fuck it is.
No, melatonin.
No, not melanin.
Don't cut back on the melanin.
You and I have melanin. Someone in here has a little bit less.
Cut back on the melanin. You're good. You're good, dog.
I did get darker. I did get darker.
So the food wasn't good. No.
The food was great in Italy.
Just at the Hilton.
The food actually fucked my... right now, I'm currently fucked up.
I heard a lot of people lose weight when they're there, which is kind of crazy.
I probably neutral because the amount I walked, but the amount I ate, I don't know. I don't weigh myself. But I can tell you right now...
The food doesn't have GMOs and all this other shit.
Oh, everything tastes better.
It's because you walk a bunch. I don't know the food.
No. The food tastes better.
The food here.
He's saying the food makes you lose weight.
I think the food.
No, but I think if you were
heard that from a couple different people.
I think if you were to eat an Italian diet.
You were there for 2 weeks?
About, yeah, a week.
I think it was the walking that made you skinnier.
I don't know if I lost weight.
Okay, but he was talking about how people go there and lose weight. If you're going there on a 2-week trip, I can tell the walking.
You lose a belt lunch?
Huh? I always put on the same no matter what.
No matter what? Even if you lost 50 pounds, you're just that committed to the belt?
Well, no, now. But now, yeah.
He doesn't lose 50 pounds at a time.
I didn't lose 50 pounds in a week and a half.
Why don't you come train with Garrity at the gym?
You got labor moved.
Why don't you come train with Garrity at the gym? Just remember to wear a vest.
A vest?
A bulletproof
vest? Yeah.
Bro, I was thinking of a weighted vest. I was like, we're trying to get him we're trying to ease him in on this onboarding process. We don't want to put a weighted vest on the first workout.
You got Boston on the mind too much. So these are good, man. How did you do that? I was no way.
This was $20, man.
You spent $20 on this?
I was just helping.
Trevor wouldn't have. Trevor wouldn't have it all.
There's no way I would have spent.
He would have said no thanks and kept on walking.
No, I was just trying to help her out, man. She's a nice lady.
Would have said no thanks, kept on walking, and then.
I was feeling good about.
And then gave shit to white people for not helping out the community. And little did we know.
You'd be like, oh fuck.
I would have said like this.
I can't help out the.
I would have said like this. No thanks, but I do enough. Then I would have walked away.
I train what could be your nephews and other community members. I may have stopped a bullet from your nephews.
All right. What else are we talking about today? I hope that nobody listens to this podcast because of the debauchery of it.
No, I think the debauchery will help us. I think people will like, right, Daniel?
I guess, yeah.
Candid. So I want to talk about something today.
You see any attractive women in Italy?
Yeah, there's a few. Definitely.
Mostly tourists?
I would say more tourists than Italians, but I don't know. I couldn't obviously.
Which countries do you think?
Was the necklace with your ID and passport around your neck, was that like the quickest way not to have an attractive woman check you out at all? That's not funny. That's pretty
hard to quantify something like that.
Yeah.
So
I think
I saw you.
Is the reason why you don't want to suck my dick because I'm wearing this?
I saw you look at the way really fast. What was it? You're not gonna get an answer.
Do you think that women will fall into like those pragmatic tropes?
Why don't we do that as an experiment?
No, but think about this.
I can give you my necklace and we can go around town and see how many
dude,
people...
the money belt dude, like a man will wear a money belt in Europe. Will the woman do the same thing?
The WBC's money belt?
No, about
my friend Gian wears money belts, and he said he told me to get a money clip for.
I'm talking about a female. Are there female money belts?
What the fuck's a money belt?
Money clip.
Belt,
a money clip. A money
clip.
clip.
No, you're talking about different things.
You have a belt that you can zip. You take it out, you zip it open. There's cash in there, so you can't.
Oh, like the gangbangers they'll put it in their boxer shorts too, right?
It's for when you travel.
It's for they'll put it in their boxers.
So you can't get. I'm hungry, dude. I haven't eaten.
I can tell. The audience knows too, because all they're hearing is.
Oh my bad.
This podcast has been sponsored by Dar's Kitchen. Darlene Victor.
She does a good job with these pecans.
Serving the Long Beach area. Great.
I bet you she just bought a fucking jar of pecans from Whole Foods. It just
no, she bought a pecan.
Do you ever get
and then she added her.
Did you ever buy Kevin Morgan sweat cream?
You know, she added her whatever.
Fucking charged 1,000%.
Did you ever buy Kevin Morgan? Kevin Morgan.
It's called capitalism. Wake up, baby.
Kevin Morgan sweat cream. You know who he is? Cam sweat cream, the boxer's choice.
Is it a YouTube channel?
No, he just did sells sweat cream at all the amateur tournaments.
Oh no, you know why?
I always think to myself like, where does he make it at?
He just repackages Valvoline and puts fucking
Valvoline.
What was it called?
Vaseline.
No.
Valvoline.
Valvoline is what you put in your
car. I need an oil change tomorrow.
Me too.
Abilene. He just gets Abilene and cuts it with that cheaper stuff. That Vaseline.
Methamphetamine.
The Vaseline is making, you know. Oh man.
I tried some sweat cream the other day. That shit was, I don't know what it's called, but it was a horrible experience.
I don't even know what.
Hey, one of our kids didn't make weight.
Yeah, Gentile didn't make weight. He was in the final.
Kid's too small already. It's time to move up, I guess.
For the people out there who have no idea what the fuck you're talking about,
it's hard to ask a 75-pound-year-old.
70.
75-pound-year-old?
70-pound 10-year-old.
To make weight.
Right?
Yeah.
10?
Your audience has no idea what you're talking about.
Amateur boxing. You weigh in every day.
Or pro boxing. Well, I'm not weighing in every day, but.
So this was the incident. He won on Saturday.
Who is he?
A young boxer.
Gentile.
We're gonna say names. I don't know. Anyway, there's a boxer that didn't make weight.
Angel.
And now he's in trouble, right? You got mad at him?
I'm not mad at him. It's a talk that
tough to ask a kid to cut weight.
It's like everybody.
They're 10 years old. You know what I mean? It's tough.
Certain things that like you think that everybody knows, people don't know. Like, you probably shouldn't give your kid Gatorade afterwards because it has just as much sugar in it as a soda. So We'll do better next time.
Yeah, but if you don't start cutting weight at 10, you're not going to be able. I think cutting weight at 10 might be quote unquote hard or whatever,
Child abuse.
But it's a part of the system.
Have you seen?
Oh yeah.
What's it called?
That's why wrestlers are so good at cutting weight until they're not, and then they have to move up in weight. But
yeah, but they're cutting weight at
wrestlers know how to do it. Yeah, that's hard, dude. High school wrestling.
You have 9-year-olds.
You gotta do it like what, once a week? You know? Yeah, it's hardcore.
I'm just saying. I think you play a sport that it's weight dependent, and people fight. No one fights at their natural weight. Because
the tough part, though, Daniel, is when these kids are growing fast as hell, right? And they're already super skinny.
I understand that, but am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that no one fights their natural weight? Because if you're fighting at your natural weight, for the most part, you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, because your natural weight isn't your natural weight. Your civilian weight isn't really.
Mm-hmm. No, but if you're, but I don't know what you weigh right now, Garrity, but let's just say 150. I'm going to throw out a number. I don't fucking know what you weigh. I'm just going to say that. You're not going to fight, even if you just train. You're going to want to fight at a lower weight to keep your strength, to keep your fucking strength, but fight lower, right? Am I right?
The same height as everybody, essentially.
So you're not fighting at, no one's fighting at their natural weights.
It's not that big. They didn't make weight. Well, it was a learning lesson. Might as well do it now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing it at 10 and you're 15, you can't do it anymore, then you're not
not his dad. His dad was pretty understanding, but a lot of parents, man, they just put too much on it. Even at the amateur tournaments, it's like, you know.
Well, see, that's my thing or my thing would be is you're 10.
Your kid's not.
You can't become pro at 11. Your kid,
yeah, it's like I was saying to someone. Oftentimes, I feel like
he's on the right track. Yep.
The father is using the son as an extension of his self.
Oh, that happens so much. I mean, it happens so much in sports, but it happens a lot in boxing, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I was like, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna do that to my kids.
Bro,
they're gonna get this chance I ever had, man. They're gonna be fucking good.
You didn't stop them.
They're gonna be fucking
Your son stopped them.
Yeah.
But it's like.
If you want an example of a father that takes it too far, look at Philly Swift. Dan Garcia's dad.
But it was hotter than hell in Menifee, which is in. Is that San Bernardino?
The desert somewhere.
The desert this weekend.
Less desirable area of.
We had a heat wave in Southern California. I don't know if you got to experience it, but after this kid fought, I'm sitting there in the parking lot eating ceviche and having a beer. And I see this kid run by making weight because he just ate lunch for the next day. And I'm just like, man.
I only was a couple
I don't even drink beer, but when it gets, the closer it gets, I don't know if you're like me, the closer it gets to 100 degrees, the more likely I will drink a beer. Just so hot. Like,
yeah, but I'm cracking the beer at 80 degrees. I'm not waiting until 90.
We know you're cracking the beer at 65 degrees.
Yeah. You don't like beer, huh?
It tastes like shit.
Thank you. It does.
It tastes horrible.
So
what do you like?
I think all alcohol tastes like shit.
Alcohol?
No.
I don't really like any alcohol. If it tastes like a chocolate shake, I'd be into it.
They got a chocolatini.
I know, but like I don't want to be that guy. You know what I don't like either is that when you do order those kind of drinks, that they judge you. Here.
Thanks for letting me have my last one.
So I saw that you were eyeing it. I was like couples therapy.
That's a nice topic jump.
Have you ever been to couples therapy?
No. I'd be okay with it though, wouldn't you?
Is it rude to suggest maybe you should give it a shot?
No.
Have you ever been in therapy?
Mm-hmm. I'm in therapy.
Yeah, I used to go.
That's interesting.
I feel like I'm doing all the work, man.
People universally. The therapist, like, it's just like, hey.
It's a great job.
I don't believe in it.
We're going to talk. Chill out, Tom Cruise.
I don't. I really don't.
Why?
Because I think you can help yourself. I think there are definitely people who are too far gone.
Through Dianetics?
Certainly you can help yourself.
I think there are people...
Through L. Ron Hubbard?
It's one of the pieces in you're helping yourself. You know what I mean?
I think there are people who are too far gone who need that help because they need they don't have people to talk to, or they don't have the ability to be introspective or to do readings.
That's
or to,
a good point. That's what I was gonna say.
So that's definitely something that's necessary.
So I think you mean it's not right for everybody.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So I think that.
But I don't believe in it for myself.
Obviously, with
well, good. You're in a good place.
The ability to self-reflect.
I don't think I'm in a good place. But I don't believe that going to a therapist would solve my problems.
But they help you
it won't solve your problems, but it's one of the pieces you do when you work on yourself.
But if you have friends that you can talk to and you be open with.
No, friends come with a bias. It's not the same.
You got to have the right friends.
And agendas. Everybody has an implicit bias.
And no, I will say though, before I went into therapy, I would talk to friends a lot, and sometimes you feel like, all right, they've already heard this story.
Friends are the worst co-signers in the world, man.
I don't know, man. I think you just need to have someone like me in your life.
Literally, friends will be
just
because
be an asshole.
We never talk about this shit.
You like to play the antagonist, but
just be an asshole.
You like to play the contrarian, but most friends that you meet will be like, "Yeah, man, you can go. I did this. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay." You're like, but I did.
But sometimes that is good advice to fucking not worry about it and to just keep living life.
But you have to be mindful of the echo chambers that you can create on accident. Because you're around a bunch of enablers, and enablers are just think about how many times friends have gotten themselves, and then like there's weird things because certain relationships, like I often tripped out about with women like this. Women sometimes I think like to watch each other crash and burn, and that's to say that like their girlfriend can be doing something that's really really bad. They know it's bad, but they sort of enable them, like I would do that too, or yada yada yada. Don't worry about it. Nobody should judge you. And they go ahead and go through with something, and it just ends up being horrible. And then afterwards, they get off the phone.
Some
and
competitive shit.
They're talking to their best friend, like, can you believe that she did X, Y, and Z? And it's like, you act like human behavior doesn't have this part to it that likes to watch people burn. There's more power when I accidentally stumble on the ability to self-reflect, and then I self-reflect so much that there's some self-infliction, and then there's this idea of finding myself.
Yeah, but that's where drugs come in.
What?
How?
Because drugs can open your mind in different avenues.
Explain.
And you have to have a willingness to accept what's going on.
This is a psilocybin commercial.
Accepting mortality, and
we all accept mortality. I think.
No, I don't think everyone accepts mortality.
Then why are we so fearful of death?
That's not accepting mortality. That's my point.
Oh, so you're saying we should all?
Oh yeah.
God.
People are afraid.
Zen master.
No, I think that's a lot of the.
No, but I mean, the one thing I would say that was cool about therapy is that they keep pushing you, and they kind of do it in a very non-aggressive way.
It's Matador for sure.
Yeah, it's a Matador
approach.
Yeah, and you kind of have this moment all of a sudden where they're like, "Well, how did that make you feel?"
But you don't think you
felt
can,
that way.
You don't think you can achieve that on your own?
I think you can, but honestly, with self-reflection,
the thing about
I don't think everyone. I think it's specific to those with intellect. Like if you're a pretty self-aware guy, self-aware person, you're gonna have a proclivity to sort of figure out why you're doing some things and why they're probably bad for you, and even like the narratives that come along with those things, or what that the power dynamics, how that makes you feel, selfishness, whatever it is, exercise of will. This idea of identity and how you'd like to see yourself. There's all these different variables that come into play with that. But if you're not very self-aware, you're like, well, why am I doing this? Like, it's like if
my problem was I'm very self-aware, but that just fed into the negative self-talk so much more.
Well, self-aware people self-inflict, which leads to pain, which leads to fucking depression, which leads to a bad.
So what I was gonna say is that self-aware people, I think people that aren't self-aware.
Religious people, I think, are more self-aware too, right? Because this idea of repentance.
But then I would ask, what are you doing in your life? Like, that would be my first question. What are you doing in your life?
I'm making lives better via the South China post.
Because then what you're doing in life will dictate your attitude too. Because if you don't have goals, or you're just doing a 9-to-5 job, or you're just
take Kylie Jenner for example, right? I don't know anything about her, but take about just the amount of power that she holds, the amount of influence that she holds, and specifically decisions that she made that probably weren't for the greater good of the demographic that finds her as an influencer, right?
Why is that her responsibility?
Okay, it isn't.
I'm not gonna hold on.
I'm not saying
curb that. I'm not. Keep going. Ignore what I just said. Ignore what I said.
Charles Barkley.
Ignore what I said.
It's not saying it's a responsibility. That I'm thinking that when she's making these decisions, that in fact she's not making them in any sort of mischievous way. That she's not being nefarious. That she's not being, she's not doing.
But which decisions are we talking about? Because I don't really know enough. You gotta give me like making a company out of her brand.
Plastic surgery, lip stuff, physical appearances.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably, when you look at a spike,
makeup.
When you look at a spike in plastic surgery, when you look at it as in the spike, there's also this idea that before there's this social norm of the desired feminine body type, which was the very skinny waif-like model. And now they've given you this other desirable aesthetic.
Well, it used to be fat women.
The curvaceous women and so forth.
Yeah, now
but that this
they've really brought...
it just used to be fat women.
But you're talking about like during like the Goya's paintings during the 16th century, robust women and so forth.
Yeah, because it was a sign that you weren't a poor person.
It meant you could eat.
But
if you could be very fair skinned and fat,
I'm just being honest.
You don't work in the field.
But you're looking at this,
man.
And
it's time to be alive.
That's still true.
Unbeknownst to her, she's created all these people. She's created a spike.
Why do you think I was going for Latinas? I don't know how that compares.
People that don't feel good about themselves, that aren't going to feel good about themselves, that probably end up going to plastic surgeons more and more so often, that didn't find acceptance with themselves.
I think that has to do with social media, though.
Social media is the delivery system. It's a platform.
Yeah.
Okay.
You eliminate social media, you don't see these people as much.
That when she made these decisions, that she actually probably didn't know. She's making them probably because, why? Because she too is a reflection of a bunch of desirable, like her sister. She's looking at her sister. She's looking at her sister's success as a young woman, saying, my sister's only successful because she went and got her ass done, she went and got her boobs done, she went and got her lips done. She became this voluptuous aesthetic. I'm going to mimic that, right? She's just by proxy, just mimicking her predecessor, which is Kim Kardashian. Her sister probably didn't know, or maybe she didn't know, but it maybe not, because she too is being responsive to something that she's unaware of, or somewhat aware of, which is like all these edited and tailored, narratives and tropes that are being assigned to women and expectations of what a woman should look like, right? My thing about it is that when you're looking at it play out, that she doesn't have the ability to self-reflect because she's in such a hyper-responsive state that unless it was somebody that was...
Did she have mental problems?
No.
I got a story.
That was somebody that had to be very, very intellectual. They'd literally sit there and go, whoa, why did I end up doing all these things?
I don't think it's a fair comparison, though.
No.
Because she was... here's why. Hold on.
I saw her on set of a Tyga video. I was working as a PA, and I was Snapchatting it to my friends because it was like a goofy set, and she's like, "Don't be snapping that to you can't take your phone out."
Yeah. I don't know, but
hold on. What I was gonna say is she grew up in a life of privilege.
Absolutely, yeah.
So her perspective is completely different than everybody in this room, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Like I won't
but
even
go.
Speak for yourself.
But not that much privilege.
Hold on,
her father's just a very wealthy attorney.
Yeah, but she was able to
not that much privilege.
She was able to live her life the way she wanted, and when Snapchat came out and all, she was just being herself. So. How she is, because I know
her sister was big in reality TV 1.0, and she was like, I do this in 2.0 in the social media.
There's a personal angle to this, and I'm not going to say names. I really am not, but I know somebody who used to be her best friend. Like I've worked with her. She's in the film industry.
Richie?
No, I'm not going to say names.
It's the wrong person.
No, but for reals, like she was legitimately her best friend.
Back in the regular school days.
Like they were all hanging out they were Snapchatting together, all this stuff. And then once she got big, like right around when she literally started blowing up, she disconnected from all her friends that were her friends at the time.
Business.
And then it became about doing a business.
Well,
hold on. The reason why I'm saying this is she said her behaviors didn't change. In terms of what she just cut out her personal life. So my connection is, once you're on Snap, she's just living herself, and then other people see that and they're like, I want to be like her.
Yeah, but my thing is, if we were to look at hashtags in Cairo, hashtags in Paris, hashtags.
Yeah, people want to be like her.
No, but this is there's very common photos that are being replicated around the world, specifically with
thanks to
women.
social media.
Thanks to social media, right? So my thing about this is that I don't know if Kylie is aware of what it is that she's pushing out there. I think she just.
Well, why does it matter?
It matters because you can accidentally be in a position of a social influencer, and you can accidentally do something like.
She's a billionaire now.
Okay, but so money bypasses the fact that you've created a bunch of women that probably they've gotten a bunch of plastic surgery. That
First of all, she brought back the ass, so I support that.
Did she bring it back or did Kim bring it back?
Either way, the family did. Okay. Second of all, I mean, people are doing squats now and they're working out, and I'm yoga pants.
She taught white girls that they could do it too.
But hold on, but
that's a weird thing in cultural appropriation too that nobody will talk about. Like literally, the aesthetic that they're after is they want a black woman's body. They won't come out and say it, but the body.
Because they want a black partner too.
Right. Well, I mean that's another thing too. But the body the desirable body that they're going after is a black woman's body. So it's like if you talk about culture, but it's a weird thing with cultural appropriation.
Before we get into race, because I knew that was going to come in.
No, it's not. I don't think that race factors in it.
Why do people have to have a more responsibility at all?
People don't have to have a moral responsibility. I don't think that she needs to have a moral responsibility. I think that she's incapable of self-reflection, where she'd sit there and actually feel empathetic or sympathetic.
Because of the environment she grew up in,
actually
she would have no idea
creating a bunch of a legacy that didn't leave a good mark on humanity.
How do you know?
Also, though, I don't even think I don't follow her.
I'm not being contrarian. I'm being serious. What is it? What is your okay, hold on. Let me
because history tells me so.
As opposed to
because nobody like her in history has ever survived the test of history. They all, in fact, are gone.
Wait,
you can't tell me who Kim Kardashian 50 years ago was or 100 years ago.
Let me give you a better argument.
They're all on the timeline. They all expire.
Hold on.
Because beauty is
first of all, everybody dies, so that doesn't.
Oh, but we could talk about Plato. We could talk about Socrates. We could talk about Homer.
Yeah, child molesters.
We could talk about John Locke or John Locke. Or we could talk.
They're philosophers.
You can't. Even those child molesters. You can't say, oh, these people are that. No, the truth is that beauty is a depreciating asset. That even
except if you're Michelangelo's David.
Name a fine.
You just went to Rome.
Name a female sexual object from that desirable from 200 years ago.
But if you want to talk about men, I just gave you a huge sex symbol, David.
No, David is only.
Do you think it's a sex symbol?
No, David's not a sex symbol.
Isn't that why they made his penis so small so that wouldn't be a sex symbol?
No, the body. Sexualizing of the body. The penis was being small has to do with barbarians having large cocks. No, that's what it is.
Yeah, I do know
barbarians had large dicks, and then so they were looked at as vile. Like, that's what barbarians had.
And a small penis means you're sophisticated.
Yeah. So hold on. But let me instead of me saying why as my argument, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say it was a bad justification, and instead I'm going to say, why is she the center of the blame as opposed to social media? Because she is just one. Because if you remove social media from the equation, is she going to have as much influence as she does?
I mean,
she would have less. If she was in her sister's era of MTV and VH1, she would have less.
But her sister wouldn't have been.
Right.
What is Paris Hilton doing right now? Because she was during.
Her sister wouldn't have been there.
She's probably revamping under social media.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have been there. Listen, but Kylie wouldn't have been there without.
Second wave's not as big as the first wave.
Listen, I'm just saying that.
But none of these people would be existent now without social media.
We're talking about this idea of therapy to get it back to the original thing and self-reflection. She's incapable of sitting back and looking at herself and saying, man, I really created a legacy that probably isn't something that was good for humanity as a whole.
But why is that her responsibility and not social media?
Okay, it has nothing to do with her responsibility. Case in point, if
you want to be an icon,
if I'm looking at, let me think of somebody else that we'll look at gangster rap, for example. Like there's a moment.
Let's keep it to women. Let's try to keep it to women.
Well, I mean, even looking at another woman that is.
Well, I think it makes it fair if he's bringing up.
No, let's keep it to women. The conversation about women and sex appeal. If you want to talk about Marilyn Monroe,
exclusively to sex appeal. I told you that beauty is a depreciating asset. It is.
I know, but let's talk about how
Marilyn Monroe is not. If I walk to middle school tomorrow, elementary school, and I ask everybody who Marilyn Monroe is, guess what? There's going to be a whole bunch of people that can't answer the question. If I ask them who Kylie is, they will be, because she didn't. She hasn't.
Marilyn Monroe's kind of.
She hasn't lasted 30 years. That's the reality of
beauty.
She's not 30 years old. Kylie's not even 30 years old.
No, what I'm talking about. Marilyn is gone. When did Marilyn pass? 50s or 60s?
The 60s.
Okay, so 50 years. Done. It's a wrap. Beauty is an appreciating asset.
I don't know. There's a lot of people still use their image for a lot of content.
For people of that age demographic, but nobody.
No, I think brands use their image for content.
Betsy Johnson, probably in 2000, but like not anymore.
I don't even know who that is.
It's a female designer. So
I think social media is more to blame than what you're talking about, though. I don't think
social media isn't. Social media is just like this big echo chamber, right? So if I'm in a room and I'm screaming something,
I know, but you brought up like hashtag Cairo or whatever. Like,
yeah, that's that.
But that's
culture.
not Kylie. That's without.
But she was part of it. She was part of the expediting.
What is hashtag
culture.
Cairo? I mean, no,
Cairo's Egypt. Like
right?
if you go to,
was this an event she did?
No. I'm saying if you look at different parts of the world, there's a universal citizen. Particularly like even when we're looking at the feminine ideal, there's a sort of universality that exists within the feminine ideal now. If I'm in if I'm looking at Cairo, if I'm looking at Paris, if I'm looking at the UK, there's this. It's no longer like, wow, does an Italian girl look different, or does a girl from Paris look different, or does a girl from Tehran look different? But it's actually this universal accepted norm that's sort of just converging into one thing, which is also pretty. It's same thing with guys.
I don't agree that it's a universal accepted norm. I think that's Western influence spreading via social media.
I mean, but that is the universal. But everybody's adhering to these.
No, you're making
the social norm.
Yeah, but that's American.
That's American.
No, I did.
That's like centric.
I did do this. I got bored.
No, it's no. What he's saying is real.
No,
but it's very.
Literally, I would hashtag every city, and I would look at it just because I was curious to see. My friend, I had this conversation with my friend.
But you know that's how the network works, right? You're going to see things that are closer to your network node, like the nodes that connect
to
he's
your
right. account.
No, he's right. Even though I'm arguing with him, what he's saying is 100% right.
No, there's a universal, even like this, Garrity.
Not the universal part, but people in different parts of the country or in the world, are like modeling themselves after Western.
I'm saying the poses of you looking at the feminine ideal.
More example.
Masculine ideal too. It has nothing to do with men or women. It's ideals that are being pushed. It's unfair for me just to say that it's just females, right? It's like there is an ideal that's being perpetuated in society that you can now find in all parts of the world, probably because social media is this huge platform.
Can you give me an example?
Sure.
Just one.
Garrity probably has friends that look like soccer players, and he somewhat looks like a soccer player now, much more so than like he would have 15 years ago. It's like, fashion guys are wearing Yeezys all over the world with tight pants and the shirts that have the scoop at the bottom. These
are trends and stuff.
It's not trends. It is literally.
No, I was just trying to see where your head. I'm not. That wasn't trying to get you. I was just
culture,
trying to understand
it's
what
like
you were saying.
Haircuts.
Here, I'll give you a better example. I'll join sides with you. I'll give you a better example, in my opinion, of what you're trying to say. Look at the United States in the fact that regional accents have pretty much gone away. There used to be a time where a southern person would have an accent, a northern person would have an accent, a New Yorker. The New York accent is pretty much depleted.
No, it's not.
Well, not
yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Not completely. But it is depleting though.
Sure, but it's not. But when was
kids our age? Show me a kid our age that I guess that's not a good.
We're in fucking California.
But
no, but I don't think I don't.
When was the last time you were in New York?
Last year.
When was the last time you were in the South?
I was in both
Texas,
places.
Louisiana.
What I was getting at here is that younger generations are starting to sound more and more like what you see on TV.
Okay, I won't.
No, but I'm not.
Older generation. So maybe I went too hard on one moment, but what I wanted to get to was these older accents, like a Peter Griffin, like a New England accent, is depleting in today's generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. But I wouldn't say that everybody in the world is...
When I said the New York accent's gone, I went too hard on that. What I was kind of thinking of was Barak, actually. You know how we used to joke about
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's not just that.
They're boxing guys from... Yeah.
But it's not necessarily... Look, listen. Culture is going to be... It's within the best interest of the machine, right? I mean, whatever that is, you want to call that the oligarchs, you want to talk about the people that are controlling, not even controlling it, but basically people that make and define taste or are out there pushing taste to you. I know, for example, Zara can see a fashion trend trending and have it in stores in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because of technology and because of the way that their systems are set up.
Yeah, that all makes sense to me. You know what I want to know? I want to know who makes the decisions out there to be like, all right, this year bacon is going to be like on everyone's mind. You know what I mean? This year, like, I don't know.
They're having a bacon yacht party.
You guys ever
when a certain food trend takes off?
You ever go down the rabbit hole
who are the powers that are pushing that?
Edward Bernays, you know Edward Bernays is the guy that he wrote. I think this is the Engineering of Consent, and there's another one. The Spectacle of Self. But anyways, Edward Bernays was Sigmund Freud's nephew. He was the founder of public relations, BERNAOS. There we go. So his big thing...
He probably went to the Vatican.
His big thing was that he had gotten hired by the Beecham Nut Company, which was like a pork subsidiary company back in the day.
Oh, he was the one with the bacon and eggs thing?
He's the bacon and eggs guy. He's the one that basically said... that he went to the American Medical Association at the time. He had a friend at the American Medical Association.
Tell people that
and asked them and said, hey, listen, wouldn't it be beneficial for Americans to get the majority of their calories in the morning time versus the evening? He said, absolutely yes.
This has to do with Kylie, though.
This has to do with the fact that it's the same thing with lobsters and rats.
He knows the name. It's Edward Bernays. You had to bring it up.
David Foster Wallace, who was a really good American writer, wrote this essay called Consider the Lobster, where it talked about that lobsters used to be fed to prisoners, basically. It was
poor people food.
Poor people, the rats and roaches.
Until people figured it out.
And also talks about sort of the way that they redefined, what a lobster was, and that they made it.
Polenta, it's like a Italian dish that's popular in dishes here, and that was an orphan food when my.
But they made it synonymous with wealth and so forth. What does this have to do with Kylie? Okay. Mm-hmm. When we're looking at no matter what, at the end of the day, it's not just as easy as Kylie gets rewarded and she gets in this position out of luck, out of just pure luck. There's a bunch of people out there that are trying to replicate what it is that Kylie's doing. They're being pretty much unsuccessful. She was part of a family.
But not everyone can be a world champion.
Yeah, but not everybody.
A lot of people try.
Okay, we're not talking. If you think that she's a world champion based on talent, give me a break.
What's wrong with her dad?
Well, first of all, if you don't think she's a world champion at making money, then you're crazy.
Her dad fucking won the Olympics.
No, she doesn't. Yeah, no, we don't.
I thought this was
you don't need to have talent to make money.
Right.
And you don't need to have talent to be put on a pedestal.
No, but
you don't need to have talent to be followed. You don't need to have talent to you don't
you
have to.
You can push something in culture that's so corrosive.
And you don't need to have talent to do that.
That makes so much money. And you can go get plastic surgery.
I would argue,
and it's so beneficial.
I would argue that she does have talent because she's doing it.
Because I would argue that
honestly, though, as much as I want to diss on her, she sees an opportunity and made a business. Saw trends.
All right.
And created a large business, make a business,
and had the money behind to back her. Let's not forget that. But
she. Okay, I mean, it's. Listen, she became a billionaire very quickly. I think that you guys romanticize this idea of making it in America and becoming a billionaire, which is totally just.
She was definitely born
probably
on
jives.
Base,
it probably jives well with why you guys see her as being like this icon of industry and that she paved her own way. The truth is that.
Well, you're putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, but you're saying, this is a very talented person. You've heard her speak.
Also, putting more words in my mouth.
Besides the fact that she's not very good at articulating herself, there's not,
How do you know?
Well, it's pretty easy. When you hear somebody talk, you get a pretty good grasp of whether or not
I've never heard her talk.
Exactly.
Except for the time that she told me to put away my phone.
When you were around
I never heard her like do public speaking.
When you were around her, did you feel like you were around brilliance? Like you're like,
no, you know what? I was like, who is this really hot woman? Yeah. And then I just didn't know who she was yet. This was 2015.
She wasn't a billionaire yet.
2015. She was also like 19 at the time, and I thought she was like 29.
And now she's like 21 now and a billionaire.
Yeah. But just because
who the fuck wouldn't want to be Kylie Jenner?
No. But at the time I didn't know who it was. Like I was like, who is this?
I would tell you that just for maybe this is why
I'm trying to separate being a hater from actual evidence here.
When there's so many things out there, like we're talking about.
We haven't addressed social media yet.
So what we're talking about? We're talking about something about this really, I think, a conversation that we should have, which is society giving value to things that shouldn't hold value at all and has no intrinsic value. I'm going to tell you that Kylie, in fact, has no real value, and most of the things that she comes with have a detrimental impact on society as a whole in ways where if we could see them spiral would be very, very sad. To young girls not feeling like they're ever going to be good enough, to young women feeling that they need to go, getting
someone else before her.
Do you know how many girls have gotten toxic butt surgeries that have lost their ass cheeks?
But like, hold on, let me ask you a question.
Because of Kylie,
let me ask you a question. But
it's true.
But how many times did Kylie go out and say, "Hey girls, you know what'll make you feel good? Butt implants."
Huh?
How many times did Kylie go out and go on Snapchat and say
how many? No.
How many times?
She actually denied that she had any.
Okay, but how many times did she go out and tell people to do that?
Man, listen. Humans aren't much different than.
Wait, can you answer the question?
Do you think that the buffalo never? Do you think the buffalo told each other we're heading off the cliff when it's in the herd?
I don't understand what the relevance
You've never heard
is.
them. You do understand.
No, I don't understand what the relevance is.
Humans are repugnantly following each other's directions. Humans are.
Yeah, but you're making it seem like she's forcing them to do it, and she's conveying the message. No, this is what you need to do.
That's the beauty of the system. All you have to do. How many times have you ever heard a song on the radio, and you hear the song on the radio, and you're like, "Yo, this song is horrible," but they keep playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it, and then all of a sudden you're like singing along to it. You're like, "Oh, this song isn't that bad," and all of a sudden it's the #1 song. Don't tell me that this hasn't happened to you before. It's happened to everybody.
It's happened to everybody.
Okay. So all of a sudden, when we're looking at someone like Kylie...
So that just means maybe the song wasn't as bad as you thought?
Kylie is so beneficial to the system. If you're looking at it, if we're looking at capital and looking at it as a measurement that we could just measure from like a cyclical value, how much can we cycle and funnel into that imaginary tube, right? And measure it. You look at her and her actions. There's a lot of money that could be made off of the Kylie Jenners of the world versus a little amount of money. And here's the sad thing. You can't even find the antithesis of who Kylie is in society because there's no money to be made off that. So you can't come back at me and say, well, what if we had more X, Y, and Z's, which were actually good,
I don't know. Kim's releasing people from jail now.
I mean, even with the saying with Kim releasing people from jail.
I mean, is that is she not doing that?
I don't believe for a fact.
It's all part of the show.
It's all part of it.
But is it not happening?
No.
I don't know.
So you can take it. Who's the writer of the new Jim Crow? What's her name?
All right, so that's gonna wrap episode 22. We had a long conversation on Monday night, and I want to cut it up so listeners can get a chance to actually listen to it. And now's a good time to take a rest here at this point in the episode. But one thing I wanted to let everyone know, Saturday the 20th, Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman fight. It'll be live on Fox Pay-Per-View, but in addition to that, here at the Boxing Podcast, Trevor and I will be doing a live fight companion, which is essentially the two of us doing a fight-by-fight color commentary in a live podcast format. The only way you'll be able to find this will be on our YouTube channel. So that's Boxing TLDR, Boxing space TL, _DR. Too long didn't read, that's the name of the channel. And Boxing TLDR, and we'll do a live stream from that channel. I would say it's uncertain on the exact time of fight, but if you are interested, just make sure to subscribe, and if you hit the bell icon, you'll get a notification when we're streaming live. We're actually going to be streaming sooner than the main event and doing coverage while we're watching the undercard fights. But if any of that's of interest to you, you can tune in on Saturday. Alright guys, thanks so much.